Social anxiety, a topic that various series try to portray but fail to grasp the essence of. You might feel frustrated about that, especially if you've experienced it firsthand. And the fact that many people perceive it as simply shyness makes it hard for a person suffering from social anxiety to bring it up. Well, we can assure you that we found an anime that addresses the notion of social anxiety. This video will end all that pent-up frustration because the show we'll be covering today.
Bocce The Rock!
Today, we shall be taking a look at the dark horse of fall 2022, an anime that has overtaken the likes of Chainsaw Man, Spy Family, and even Mob Psycho 100, a feat that is extremely hard to achieve. Bocchi The Rock is a 4-comma manga adaptation, which is a short comic that consists of 4 panels arranged vertically to deliver the plot on one page, often used for gag series. We'll explain why Bocchi The Rock is so relatable for introverts. So what makes it different from all the shows that tackle similar themes? Stick around till the end, because you don't want to miss a potential anime of the year. Now, without further ado, let us dive deeper and understand how this show engages social anxiety and many more similar themes. To understand how Bocchi The Rock addresses social anxiety, we'll first have to learn how the show is set up. The anime follows Goto Hitori, aka a girl suffering from social anxiety since childhood and looking to find her foothold in life. During middle school, she became inspired to learn music and decided to practice the guitar to eventually join a famous band. But unfortunately, for the next 3 years, she doesn't even get a single opportunity to perform or join a band. On the flip side, however, she does manage to garner a YouTube following under her channel, Guitar Hero, with 30,000 subscribers, where she anonymously posts her guitar covers. Bocchi's life has been challenging as she struggles with socializing, even to the point of avoiding all eye contact. In many social situations, she tends to succumb to overthinking what people might think of her and continues to deal with the struggles many introverts face. But, just like a storm, her high school life suddenly takes a turn and she comes across Nijika, an extrovert who gives Bocchi precisely the push she needs. And that's how Bocchi unwillingly joins the Kisoku band, where she tries to overcome her social anxiety, learn what it's like to have friends, and even get a job. The people around her, the band members, make it possible for Bocchi to change her life and attitude toward problematic situations. Now, it would be a crime not to know all these wonderful characters who make this show relatable and comforting on so many levels. Most slice-of-life anime tend to focus on the characters often unrealistically, but Bocchi The Rock takes it a step further and grounds its vast cast with various relatable themes. Let's look at the colorful cast and all the different elements of human nature they represent. Firstly, we have our protagonist, Goto Hitori, the guitar enthusiast. The show's central character is an innocent, introverted, and pessimistic girl suffering from social anxiety and gets her nickname, Bocchi, from the fact that she's always alone and lonely. Many anime that try to focus on social anxiety cannot capture the fundamental nature of the problem, leaving the audience with nothing to relate to. But Bocchi encapsulates what an introvert indeed faces. That is, problems approaching someone, unwillingness to stand out, unable to say no to a person, and much more. However, it's not that she wants to be socially anxious. She goes as far as it takes to face her fears, even if it might lead to unforeseen situations that she hates to be in. Bocchi is a relatable persona that many cannot find in real life, a person who can finally understand what you feel, even if it's through a screen. Looking at Bocchi gives many the courage to face their problems, even if it means failing. That simple distinction makes her an inspiration for many worldwide who want to step out of their comfort zone. Next, we have Nijika Ichiji, the drummer, an energetic and cheerful extroverted girl who formed the Kisoku band and recruited Bocchi. Nijika represents the outgoing individuals of society who empathize with people facing anxiety. She lives with her tsundere elder sister, Saika, who runs a live house where the band performs. As we progress through the story, we learn that despite her cheerful nature, the girl has been through her fair share of problems. Despite that, she faces the world with a smile. She even manages to captivate the rest of the band to support her and bring Nijika close to her true dream. Nijika represents an individual that many introverts fantasize about, someone in their life who will force them out of their shell without criticizing them, helping them progress towards their goals in life. And for Bocce, Nijika became that person. Honestly, don't we all want a Nijika in our lives too? Then we have Ryo Yamada, the bassist, the cool lone girl who enjoys being called a weirdo. Yes, she doesn't have any communication disorder, but she's a person who likes to be alone. And despite her personality, Ryo's best friend is Nijika. But as we learn more about her, it makes sense because Ryo likes to be around individuals who can be themselves despite their circumstance. And Nijika is precisely that. A sense of individuality is integral to her, to the point that she will leave a band if it casts aside its individualism, resulting in her leaving her previous band. To Bocce, Ryo is a hurdle that's too high to cross because loners and introverts are polar opposites. A loner like Ryo enjoys visiting new places alone, exploring new things, and not caring about what other people think. An introvert like Bocce would rather stay in her closet than explore restaurants. Ryo represents the loners of our society, those that enjoy solitude over everything. But people tend to think of them as shy or egotistical when they like to be alone. And lastly, we have Ikoyo Kita, the vocalist, the popular and extroverted girl who faces her problems awkwardly as an introvert would. Kita is a band member who abandons the group initially because she cannot follow through what she boasted to Ryo about. Instead of facing her problems head-on, she chooses to run away from them. Kita represents that it's not the end of the world when we don't live up to our high standards, making her relatable as we tend to be very hard on ourselves. As we watch her character grow, we learn that you don't have to keep thinking about every mistake you made in the past. Instead, you should face the issue and try to solve it to the best of your ability. And in the end, mistakes are great learning opportunities. Kita is an individual who's portrayed to show the imperfections in extroverts. Being extroverted doesn't mean one is perfect. One still faces many problems. Now here's the takeaway from all this. Each character in the show represents several individuals in our society. While the central theme is social anxiety, the anime expresses how different individuals can be from one another. Human beings are imperfect creatures. Every individual has their quirks, irks, and positive points. So, one mustn't scrutinize the people with faults to further berate them, but rather support them through life, helping them gain confidence and become better versions of themselves. So why is this all so relatable? Now that you have an idea of the show and the purposeful cast, let's move towards the final and most exciting section, the relatability of this anime series. Watching Bocce is observing the struggles of social anxiety unfold. Many of you are probably aware of it, but for those who aren't, it's an intense feeling of evaluation from others in social situations. The feeling of anxiety becomes tangible as the person believes their identity to be what they are lacking. Thus, stress and pressure become inevitable consequences of this self-induced danger. This danger could be a person thinking that they are trying too hard to get attention or has done something wrong, resulting in them trying to erase themselves from conversations. Anxiety can take various forms, such as when Bocce explodes when a guy approaches her during the beach visit, or when Bocce finds it much easier to communicate with the online world than in reality. This is precisely how the main character, Bocce, is portrayed. Therefore, this is one of the reasons why people, especially introverts, find Bocchi The Rock so relatable. The feeling can be described as if they are finally being understood. Watching others who experience the struggles we face through a screen makes it unique, as there's no real-life pressure and we see firsthand how the characters overcome these challenges. As you may have realized, as we go through the topics of this anime, there's a strong sense of realism. Here in the anime, the characters in the show don't face some hyper-unrealistic issues, but genuine communication disorders that the audience can relate to. Little things Bocce does, like having an overly soft voice, avoiding eye contact, stuttering, freezing up, etc., might seem weird to many, but that is precisely what makes her social anxiety so realistic. It's not just Bocce, however. Every character in the show is realistically portrayed for the audience to relate to. Like loners and individualists can relate to Ryo, and extroverts who run away from their problems can relate to Kita. Finally, those who can keep a smile on their faces despite the hardships in life can click to Nijika. The characters' struggles are not easy to face, but overcoming it all begins with their drive to change. So what makes Bocce unique is that her mindset is not, "Oh, I have social anxiety, and that's my excuse to stay the same." But from the first episode, it is evident that Bocce wants to change by purposefully bringing out her guitar as a potential conversation starter. Although this fails at first, she still tries and eventually finds the right people in a place where she can mingle with, her band members. Growing out of her shell, she goes out with them, invites them to her home, and considers their happiness as a group over her own. But she couldn't have made this progress if she was alone and didn't want to change. It's all because of her willingness to change and create opportunities to find the right people that she was able to grow. Opportunities present themselves to those who work for it. We see this when the Kisoku band manages to ace an audition because of how badly Bocce wishes to continue with the band, evident in her actions, thus gaining the opportunity to perform on stage. All of this sums up why Bocchi The Rock is such a relatable show. Considering all these facts, it's no wonder that the slice of life has overtaken several big names this season. With the fantastic production team from Cloverworks behind it, Bocchi The Rock adapts the 4-koma manga creatively, using hyper-realistic images and exaggerated art style to perfectly encapsulate the characters' feelings. So, if you're an introvert, this is one anime you don't want to miss. And not just for introverts, it's a show anyone can watch, because the cast members represent different individuals. We can't recommend this show enough. It's not just a simple anime, it's a journey. We hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to keep up with the anime community, check out our next video here. Thanks for watching!